All right, let's see. Check mic 1, 2, 3. Let's get all the levels checked. Okay. Do. I am not hearing anything. Always like to do these checks because, it's one thing to test it prior to the recording, but sometimes, as we've learned recently. Okay, great. Sound is coming through. This is great. All right. Yo, what up, Kelvin? How's it going? All right, yeah, doing sound check, screen check, because last time we had a little bit of a hiccup regarding the screen being super zoomed in, so I'm going to pay extra attention for that going forward. Because how can we go the whole stream with you only seeing part of my window because it got zoomed in for some reason? Oh, thanks. Appreciate that. Docs linting is something that's near and dear to me, so. All right, let's kick it off. Let's see, boom. Okay, this is great. All right. Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another session of Build with Ben. My name is Ben Hong, Vue core team member, senior staff developer, experience engineer at Netlify, Nuxt ambassador, just general lover of all things web and just building things for the web. So basically this session, we're here to just hack on things. And today, the topic of this particular session is around migrating a Nuxt 2 and Shopify boilerplate that I have and just moving up to Nuxt 3, because as more and more the ecosystem has begun to mature, it's time to get some of my starter kits up and running so that people who want to get working with Nuxt 3 and Shopify can just kind of leverage that immediately and just kind of build from there. So that's what we'll be working on together. So with that said, without further ado, let's just jump right in. Oh, actually, I guess, as always in these sessions, for those of you joining live, if you have any questions about just any web things in general or want to ask about career, sort of getting into tech, that kind of stuff, this session is always open for that kind of stuff too. So without further ado, let's jump right in. All right, looks like this is good. All right, so I believe I have a Nuxt Shopify kit. Dang. Thought I had that right too. Oh, Shopify Nuxt kit. I was close. All right, so let's talk about what we are working about today. General intro into the problem. Okay, so you can see here we have a kind of your standard, basically your e-commerce app where you have the Shopperoni. As you can see, various bits of charcuterie, cheeses, and that kind of thing. And it allows you to switch, filter between the various views. And let's say we want to add the very good charcuterie here and add it to the cart. You'll see here that we have the cart here, update here. It has that right here, line item as well. And then boom, everything just kind of works. So what up, Charlie? New Ben codes. No, you know what? No merch just yet. Although I gotta say, at some point I want to do something fun with the dragon logo. I got like a kind of like anime concept that I want to do. It's just about finding the right anime artist who's like open, who has the bandwidth for work. And I'd love to commission an artist to kind of help me come up with some ideas of using the dragon in kind of an anime fashion. And so who knows what will come of that, but that is something I'm excited to kind of do at some point. So anyways, in the meantime, gosh, I'm reminded of some of these great like lorem isms that we were doing. Like beard wo jianbing, and then I think I forgot I think there was like it was like a hipster lorem ism which was pretty great. But anyways, I digress. So this is what we're working on today, and so let's just jump right into the code, shall we? Let me see. All right, open this up, close this up, and then let's see, new window, Shopify Nuxt kit, boom. All right. So let's do a quick review. Let's see, make sure everything is good from a zoom perspective. Let me zoom in once more, actually. I think this will be a little bit easier on the eyes. Okay, maybe once more. Okay, no, one back. Okay, if people have a hard time reading, please let me know. I know my face always covers the bottom right, so I will try to be as mindful of that as we go. But otherwise, in the meantime, let's jump right in. So basically, you can see here, this is your standard Nuxt 2 app. In terms of like, we have an index page here. It's like fetching data. When it's mounted, it's doing a bunch of stuff as far as like getting the cart from local storage. I mean, all of this is fairly straightforward. The reason it works the way it does, though, is because you'll see here we have this async data request where we can actually get a product list. And what it's doing is it's actually going into Netlify here and let's see, get product list, which is right here. And so as you can see here, it's actually like the serverless endpoint that will go ahead and post to Shopify, grab all the things, and then return it back. And so basically the integration that we see here is Nuxt2 creating all the view, all like the layouts, the pages and everything, and then ingesting it through Netlify functions. Now, the question will be when we migrate to Nuxt 3 is how can we do this in a more Nuxt 3 fashion that maybe takes us a little bit away from the dependency of doing it like the Netlify serverless function way, but allowing us to still leverage that in a way that's still standard on the Nuxt 3 platform without being bespoke to a deployment platform. So that is the question for today. Okay, so first thing first, what I do want to do is, let's see. I believe, let's see, we have a footer on this app. And at the moment, I do want to kind of keep this very clear that this is a Nuxt2 app. Nuxtjs.org, I believe, is the correct URL. Let's just double check this real quick. Yep, this is the old Nuxt2, which is good. And then we can do a README here. Let's see, looking to use Nuxt.js. So let's see, Nuxt2, like here. And then I think that's good enough for now. And the reason I want to do this is because going forward, there will be people probably that's looking, that may be looking for the Nuxt2 version for whatever reason. So we want to make this super clear in that regard. So docs update to Nuxt to clearly indicate Nuxt2. And then we're going to go ahead and push this up to main. And then after that, we're going to check out a branch that's basically going to be called Nuxt2. And we'll push up origin Nuxt2. And if everything looks good on our end, let's see, let's go into the GitHub. All right. Going forward, there we go. We see the Nuxt2 version right here. Great. This will be everything we have. So that allows us to basically migrate everything on main. And then main will be our, basically our our Nuxt 3 branch. But before we do that, the other thing I like to do for cleanup in order to ensure that people always have the demo available so they can actually see what it is exactly they're using, we're going to go ahead and open this up inside of Netlify. Because one of the things I do want to do with this, if I do nettle open, so NTL is, I say nettle, is this short for Netlify? Oh, I didn't link it yet. Okay, link it. Dun, dun, dun. So this will basically go into my account and be like, hey, like, you know, do you have a site that's deployed using this repo, which is basically what's happening. Although I just realized we might be authenticated under my Netlify account. And if that's the case, it's not going to be able to find anything. But we'll see in just a bit what we find. Yeah, I thought so. So you can use the command NTL switch. And switch will basically allow you to switch the different accounts. So you can see here I have a bunch of different ones. So go ahead and use this one. And now if I link this one, we should be okay. So I will link it by the origin because it's deployed to my Netlify account. Bum, bum, bum. And bop, bop, bop. We are waiting for the thing to find the thing. And it's taking a little while. Do. Give it another couple seconds, and then if not, we're just going to do it the old-fashioned way. There we go. Oh, it doesn't find it. That's really odd. Okay, well, we're doing it the old-fashioned way. So the old-fashioned way is for us to go ahead and log in here. And then, let's see. Looks like we're logged in here. They're the wrong account. So let's log in with GitHub. And then, good to go. Okay, here's our Shopify Nuxt kit. It's weird that it can't find it, though, because it's absolutely using that. So if we do site configuration, yep, build and deploy. Oh, it's because it didn't recognize the rewrite. I see. So link to a different repository. So it was just interesting. It knew to, I guess GitHub knew to redirect, but it didn't know that it's been changed basically. So I think when it was looking for an exact match, Nuxt kit like this. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, there you go. What's going on? Dun, dun, dun. It had it for a second. And now it glitched out on me. Refresh. All right, let's try that one more time. Hello. Hey, Eric. How's it going? Or Zagbale. Actually, that may be your first name. All right, Shopify. Did it configure correctly? Shopify Nuxt Kit. Yep. This is good. This is good. All right, deploy site. Netlify functions. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, now we're going to see if this works correctly. Bum, bum, bum. It's going to go ahead and fetch and build everything, which is good. In the meantime, what I am going to do is we're going to go ahead and inside of configuration, I'm going to swap this over because, okay, one of the things I've noticed about when people migrate to new things and they have starter kits is that it's hard to necessarily, like sometimes you don't even know where the old version is. So one of the things I do like, which is a feature of Netlify, is the fact that we can actually do a branch deploy. So in other words, if we come into here and I specify a specific branch, so in this one, I'm going to add a branch Nuxt2 and then save it. What this should do then is that any changes made to the Nuxt2 branch, there should be like a specific deployment for Nuxt2. So we'll see that in a little bit, hopefully. Oh no, it failed. Why did it fail? Sadness. Nuxt generate. Did not like it. All right. Well, in the meantime, I'll figure out this deployment stuff for the first for the Nuxt2 build another time, because one of the things I am getting better about, which I really love about doing these sessions, is we're here to do the Nuxt3 thing. So it's easy to get distracted. I feel like as a solo developer sometimes when you're working on something to be like, yes, this problem just arose. I'm going to put out this new fire. But we're here specifically to migrate to Nuxt3. So while this build may not be working exactly as anticipated, that's totally fine. That's just a to-do for me. So I'm just going to come in here inside of here, notes, to do, I'll just figure out deployment for Nuxt2 version of the starter kit. Okay, we'll figure that out later. See, Demog. Okay, I apologize if I mispronounced this. Damagaj. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for joining. Okay. All right, all that said and done, we had a little bit of detour. We're figuring that out now. All right, going back to main. And more importantly, since we don't know if it's fixed yet, or more importantly, we don't know how far we're going to get. So let's go ahead and for now create a branch for Nuxt3 just to keep it real nice and clean. And then what I like to do when I'm migrating stuff is make it easy to compare and contrast the two. So basically all this stuff inside of here really should belong in the v2 directory, because this all belongs to the old version of Nuxt2. Bump, 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 just like that. And then actually, why is that being funky? There we go. All right, everything is now inside of v2. And then what I like to do here is, I believe it's nuxi init. Is what we're gonna do. Nope, npx nuxi init. Hey, there we go, that's what I wanted. Okay, so we've created a brand new template. So here's the Nuxt app, and if we look inside of here, let's see, package.json, do we got what we need? 3.6.1, this looks promising. Everything looks good from my end. Okay, so for now, let's just make this simple, call this v3, and then we'll have that. We'll call this Shopify Nuxt Kit. I believe is what the first one was called. So let's see, let's open up a parallel one on v2. Shopify Nuxt. Oh, interesting. That's the package name that I'd left. Yeah, I'm going to make some changes. I'm going to just add the kit here for now. I might eventually want to call it Nuxt Shopify Kit, to be honest, because I obviously have more Nuxt kits than I do Shopify kits. So it's interesting that I kind of labeled it that way. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. We're going to copy the README, though, over here. Drop that over. For now, though, we're just going to go ahead. I'm not even sure this works. So an npm run dev. npm run build, that's fine. And then I'm not going to worry about this just yet. And then we're not going to prerequisite. I'm going to, for this, which NVM am I on? Node version. Am I winning? Are you winning, Sun 2? I sure hope so. I feel good. It feels like a good day. All right, I'm on 18. So we're going to go ahead and just chalk it up to that. So although let me just go ahead and check. I'm always curious. I feel like the Node versions jump so fast. Yes, it's still LTS. So that's fine. Node 18, which is great. All right, that's good. We have this environmental variables. This we'll need to check if that's actually still accurate. But this is the new Nuxt 3 kit. And that's pretty good. All right, so we got that scaffold. So to make sure this actually works, I just realized we're going to go ahead and cd to v3. We'll npm install inside of here. Meanwhile, you can see, though, actually, it's funny enough, when you're comparing the two, look at this v2 directories, like versus the v3 directories. Very, very short and simple, because we don't know what it is exactly that we want to use just yet. Whereas Nuxt 2 does try to provide the boilerplate so you can kind of jump in. At this point, I think I was using the styles directory and clearly some utilities, but like I think I used the store. Static was fine, no plugins. I didn't use any middleware. I was just using the default layout. Yep, just like random stuff in here. Assets, didn't even use assets either. Anyways, all right, let's check that this works. npm run dev. All right, so we're gonna open this up inside of here. All right, looks good to me. So we have that here, that here. All right, perfect. Now we're gonna start making some migrations. Okay, so first thing first, what we're gonna do is inside of the git ignore, let's just temporarily do a temp ignore on the whole v2 directory. That way we can be very clear about what's going on. So inside of here, then I'll just, again, so it's tempting right now in my mind to move all this stuff into the root directory. Actually, maybe I'll just do that. I think we have enough of a compare contrast at the moment. So I am going to go ahead and actually drop all this stuff to the root. Take this out so that we have nothing to compare. Yep, and then we just going to basically initialize a brand new app. Okay, so git commit config start new Nuxt 3 app. Ooh, there you go, clean. Okay, so this basically starts us right off the bat, and then actually I'm gonna do a underscore like this so that it actually jumps up to the top, so that it's easier for me to sort of go top down in terms of migration. All right, first thing first, let's actually get the home page showing up. I think that's the cleanest thing to do. Because right now, if we take a look at our Shopify kit here, oh, it's interesting that, oh, here we go. Yep, this is what I want. Yep, here we go. This is what it looks like. We need something to appear for our Nuxt page. So first thing first, I'm gonna start real simple. We're gonna go ahead and let's see, editor config. I do actually like editor config, so we're just gonna actually, let's move some of our ESLint stuff. Prettier, yep, spent time on that. JS config. Now we have a TS config, but so I don't think this is necessary anymore. We had a netlify toml. I'm gonna go ahead and move that for now. Although actually this one might not really be necessary. You know what, just to be safe, I'm not gonna move that just yet. Nuxt config, we'll need to check this out into it later. Looks like we have some resources being imported. Yep. I already migrated the README, so let's wipe that out. And then basically I'm kind of using this as a checklist if you can't tell. So as I'm going through, I'm like, okay, these things have been migrated. This is good. Git ignore. Okay, good enough. So inside of my commit log, we can see that this is basically a config change. So easy enough. Migrate config from v2. That's that. Okay. Next part, pages, index. I'm going to take a look at this as the very first thing. So let's jump inside of our, we're going to have a new folder called pages. And we're going to make this index.view. Let's make sure it works. Hello, live stream, save. All right, refresh. Okay, this, actually I forgot, Nuxt welcome won't work. So I believe we can just delete. No, we can't delete app.view. We have to just do, I want to say Nuxt, but I want to say, let's see, Nuxt 3 pages. I always forget this part right here. There is something we got to do real quick, which is index.view. Yep. Oh, yeah. We just need this to be Nuxt page, just like this. Hey, redemption in the chat with the assist. You are right. That's it. Yep. Bum. Let's see. Did that work? Nope. Crash. Ooh, that did not like it. Oh, silly me. I am not in the v3 directory anymore. There you go. Now this is all working. All right, hello live stream is up. Fantastic. Let's see what we got going on here. Okay, first thing first, we have a product grid which is not going to exist. So I'm not even going to bother with this right now. And we're just going to h1 class homepage like this. And then all this stuff here is basically not really going to work. Oh, redemption. Are you trying to get which keyboard I have? I think, is that a Twitch command? I'm still learning how to kind of make the most of all that stuff. If you're wondering what keyboard I'm using, yes, this is, yep, SAS not found. First thing first, we got to install the SAS package. The way we did this in V2 was we just installed, basically, you see here SAS and SAS loader. But for those of us who have used SAS, SAS has just been a little bit tricky with the installation because, oh, that's interesting that it's not the first result. Bum. All right, let me full screen this. We're going to go into docs. We're going to search. We're going to look for SAS. That was not what I was looking for. SAS. Subsequent assets to use a preprocessor. Here we go. Use a preprocessor. Where are we? Here we go. Using preprocessors. Just SAS. So no loader, it looks like, which is nice. Although maybe you do need the loaders. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. That's the funny thing. Okay, here we go. We're just going to follow it. Nice and simple. Bum. NPM SAS. No, redemption. I don't think that's annoying at all. I do, honestly, I see Cassidy has it all the time for like her setup and stuff. So the keyboard I'm using is, I guess, you know what? Hang on. We're going to do a quick detour on this. Yay, scene change. All right, this is what I'm using. Here we go. Just like that. That's my keyboard. And so it's like a GKS EPO maker. Let me check this. Okay, EPO. Yes, this one. Yes. Okay, it's time to switch back to the live screen. So the keyboard I'm using is the EPO maker GK61XS. I believe it should be the XS. And basically, I've had a good time with it. I'm a 60% keyboard user. I do enjoy the layout so that I don't actually have to move my hands to do the arrows. I know some people enjoy doing that, but for me, I basically hit a function key and then my J, I, K, L buttons are my up, down, left, right, which is basically equivalent to your arrow functions or the arrow keys. So I know some people don't like the extra button, but I like the fact that I don't have to move my hands. So that's why I'm big for that as far as the 60%. And then the keycaps actually, oh, I do want to give a shout out to the keycaps. Oh gosh, it was the okay, hold up. Vile Plume keycap. It wasn't Vile Plume. It was Vile Bloom is one that a friend of mine has. So shout out to my buddy Hung Soo for actually introducing me to Mech Supply. Or is it SA? I get, and so just to be clear, I get nothing for this. There are no links or anything, but I will drop I'll drop this in the show notes because people I believe will be wondering. So don't worry if you're looking in the show notes, this will be there later. But the keycap set I'm using is called Dream Eater, and so you can see here it's got little nice little Pokemon call details. So for example, here you can see there's this Pokemon function key or control, and they have different ones, and so depending on what set you get. And so for example, do I have any of the other one? Oh yeah, you can see here on the bottom. Run Pokemon item fight, which is a great callback to the Pokemon moves. So anyways, this is a fun set. I do enjoy the keycap set quite a bit. Oh yeah, here's the novelties right here. So you can see here you got little Pokemon, little eyes. I think this is the Gengar face. Anyhow, so yeah. So that's the set that I'm using. Honestly, this is one of the things I'm really excited to, once I sort of open up a little bit more time on my schedule for this stuff. I'd love to have like, I have this vision of a bat cave page for my website where like you can see all the different gear. So you know, like if you're, for anyone who's played any of the Batman games, when you like go into like the lair, you can see all the different like suits, and then you can see all the different like batarangs in different places. I'd love to create like, I don't know, even like it may be there's like a 3JS experience that I could totally see where like you click on a table that has all the keyboards that I own, and it's like which ones I'm currently using. Anyways, all that fun stuff. I have ideas. I just need time to figure some of this out, which I have plans to try to open some of that up, try to figure that out. But anyhow, honestly, Redemption, love the questions. Keep coming. I'm totally down for the detour. There's still plenty of time, and I'm confident we can get something out the door before the session is out. So anyhow, again, appreciate the question. Okay, so where are we now? We are back in the SaaS, and we're trying to figure out how to get all this stuff working. So womp, we have that. All right, dev, this is good. Bumping this back over to 1/3. And then let's see what's going on here. Okay, looks like the SaaS is working. My only thing though is that none of the styles are coming in. So we're gonna figure out actually how to migrate all this over. So we're gonna drop all this style stuff here. And then what did I do before? This is where we like, again, it's one of those things where like you think you remember, or like once you build it, it's like you forget about how things were done. So generally we have this global CSS that I'm doing here, and then we have an actual resource of like what you basically preload on every component. So just to quickly explain that, you can imagine that when you're actually coding and you might want to use your Sass variables, normally before every block, you'd have to import like your settings for whatever it is, like your settings partial. And so the problem with this is that this gets really tedious to do in every single file. And then if you have to rename it, it's like just another thing you have to take care of. So there should be a way basically for us to make sure that we allow ourselves the opportunity, or basically to make things easier for ourselves to import this in advance. So I actually think I saw that inside of here. So we can see here, we can actually import stuff like this, use main CSS, and then you can use this in the CSS configuration. Okay. And then here we go. Okay, this is actually updated. I have not gotten this far to the use. All right, we're gonna find out if this works, because this would be super exciting if it does. All right, cool. So we're gonna go inside of our Nuxt config, and we're gonna get these things enabled. So we'll start by doing the, let's see. We do have a main CSS. So inside of CSS, actually though, this is interesting. Wait. This is Vite CSS. This is Nuxt CSS. So they're two different things. All right. So let's see if if Copilot did find the right thing. So it is totally wrong because it's inside of styles. So styles, and then not even just styles, is main.scss like this. This should probably break localhost. Yeah, it does, because it's looking for a variable that doesn't exist. You can see right here, this is that error, which makes sense because we actually haven't imported all of these settings things that we're doing right here. So I have a bunch of variables that have been defined. And so the way we're going to do that is we're going to use the Vite configuration. And so that's what is a little bit confusing about this, is that Vite then will basically use the preprocessor options rather than like a bespoke style resources for Nuxt. So we have Sass here, and then apparently additional data here. And then rather than import, we're just going to copy this to use. What are we using? We're using @styles, not variables, but settings like this. Okay, let's see if that actually worked. Sadness. I don't think this worked. npm run dev. Let's reboot real quick. Yeah, it's still saying it's not. So, okay, just to verify that this works first before we do anything else, we're going to come inside of here and we're going to drop this on here. Will this actually work? I don't think so, because what I'm used to is actually import here like this. Am I wrong? Sass URL, Sass import URL. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, I'm gonna say, yeah, but discourages import rule. They're phasing it out. They're replacing it with use. Yeah, they are saying to recommend to do that, but that's What's weird to me is that this should work. All right, we're gonna try this for another like minute, and then I'm pretty sure I have the boilerplate for this in my own site. But that's weird because, okay, one sec. Just for the sake of argument, I'm gonna just copy this real quick just to make sure everything is working. So we drop this directly here, go inside of here and refresh. Main.css won't work. Oh yeah, certainly, because it's like expecting this stuff to be defined here. So if I refresh now, yeah, now everything works. Okay, so we need to figure out why the variables aren't working. And okay, so we're gonna do a quick switcheroo over to Ben Code Zen site because I'm pretty sure I'm doing this already. I just forgot this part. If I look at the next config, additional data, import styles. So I did do the import. Yeah, so this is the exact same thing that I did inside of here, and then I import that there. Okay, but worth calling out though, I am doing normal CSS here. Okay, that's fine. So we know that's that. So let's just actually make sure that that style works first. So we're gonna close a bunch of stuff because I have too many windows open. We're just gonna do import, and then instead of the @ symbol, which maybe is what throwing it off, styles/settings SCSS, just like that. Oh, I think that did work. So if we look at the changes, oh, I need to commit some more stuff. Yeah, that looks pretty safe to me overall, not gonna lie. Okay, this is cool. If that really is the case, Shopify CSS though, this is, I need to import that too though. Because did I do Shopify CSS inside of here, or is this separate? Shopify CSS, at footer, at this. Oh, right. This is the thing that I included. Yes, okay, got it. So for anyone wondering the history behind this, at one point, the DevRel team or DevX team at Netlify, we kind of worked on this together. Everyone kind of did it in their own framework. And so knowing this, I believe once we have, main, then we're gonna bring in styles. Rather than normalize, we'll bring in the chaperone, just like that. Okay, now we do the index. Ooh, whoops. Okay, now we have the index here. This is good. And then we can delete all this stuff. Oh. The machinist here in the chat, I see your question. What color is your Bugatti? I wish I owned a Bugatti. I don't know. If I did have a Bugatti, I might go for something just like a midnight black. Go for something simple, something classic. Might be what I would get. But honestly, let's see. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if a Bugatti is the sports car that I would have chose. I think if I could have any sports car, when I was a kid, I really liked the Lotus race cars. I think that was like in my like no limit on money. Like I'm gonna get a fancy car that's like as much of as a house kind of bit. That was where my thought was at for the I forget which Lotus model it was, but I will say fun trivia about me and my fun practical car that I really wish I could have had when I like first started driving, which I didn't get. It was like the Toyota Celica, because it was like just practical enough where like it's a Toyota, so it's not like this luxury brand, but at the same time it like looks sporty enough that if like as a teenager you're like, that's like I have a sports car with like kind of like a spoiler, kind of like sleek looking. So anyways, that's your random trivia about me growing up. So yes, I think I was looking at a silver one at the time. Oh my God, I was obsessed. I was trying to figure out how to make that work. Anyways, okay, so we're neither here nor there. Okay, product grid, filter product list. There's a lot of stuff happening here. So before we can move on to actually making sure something appears here, there's actually quite a bit of work that we got to do in the time we have left. So to be honest, if we manage to even get the homepage showing up in Nuxt3, this will already be a huge win. So what I'm going to do, to be honest, is I'm just going to copy the entire components directory to the root. This might be a little risky, but you know, what the hey. Hold up. Shoot, something just happened. Oh, something just super broke. Why did the Nuxt modules page unravel? This is the problem with having such large functions. Okay, here we go. Components, drag here. There we go. Okay, we have our components now. This is great, and we should have a product grid here. The product grid is fairly straightforward. We have a props, product list, array, it renders stuff, and then it'll take the product card here, and the product card is here. Props object, sure, computed. All this stuff should be compatible still with all our Nuxt 3 stuff. Nothing actually should change, to be quite honest. So this migration here should be fairly easy. From like this should just ingest itself, basically, is what I'm saying here. So no modification needs to be made to that. And so if I uncomment this, the main thing here actually that we have a problem right now is we do need to figure out how to get this filter product list. And right now this is going to be a bit tricky to do. So in the meantime, let me see, what am I going to do? All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start by making sure stuff renders correctly. I really like to break things down to the smallest unit possible whenever it comes to things. So API, what was it called? API get product list, like this. So here we go. We have a list of data here. Bum, 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 bum. Okay. Oh, wait, actually, did I just open a new window with that, or did I close it? I think I actually did close it. So now if I go backwards, there we go. Now we have it. Okay, I just want that in my history right now. All right, so quickly, if we do const filter product list, and then this is just going to be a ref that has this giant data structure inside of here, which will be god awfully long. Actually, you know what I'm not going to do, just to make this a little bit easier to read? We're going to go ahead and inside of public, we'll do a new file called data.json. Actually, let's just make this a little bit more specific. Let's make this Shopify data.json like that. Then inside of here, if we do our script setup, this should then allow us to say import Shopify data from let's see, go back, Shopify data like that, and then .json, and then a ref of Shopify data. That should work, I think. And then we can render out filtered product list. Okay, error loading, refresh. Did it break? Did I break everything? Very possible I broke everything, so we're gonna restart. All right, Domzo here in the chat. Have you tried using the PNPM package manager? I have. Let me say, I have a limited experience with it. There has been a lot of people in the open source community are using it. I personally haven't found a compelling reason to do so just yet, because it seems that there is a learning gap between NPM to PNPM. Even though people just say just use PNPM, I don't know. I think as developers, when we're choosing tooling, and more importantly, as we're learning new tooling, it's important to understand why. And I got to say, I still haven't figured out a good way to explain why people should use PNPM, like on a normal basis for projects that like their entire teams are using. I believe there's something to do with scoping and stuff that's particularly beneficial, which is why a lot of maintainers use it. But until I find a way to explain it in like, if I can explain it to a 5-year-old why you should use PNPM over NPM, and I'm convinced of it, I don't typically use it on my projects, because it is just another dependency and another learning concept that people have to get familiar with. So unfortunately, yeah, I can't comment too much on that. But again, I have nothing bad to say about it. And I wouldn't be like, don't use it. I'm just saying I haven't done enough with it to like endorse it or say that like, yes, I'm using it on all my projects. Okay. Unfortunately, everything's breaking now. Okay, this is the problem with lack of micro commits. For whatever reason, everything is suddenly breaking. So, gosh. Can't find style sheet styles. Oh, they are right. Where did my styles folder go? Oh, why is my styles folder back inside of there? Should be here. Okay, that like that. Yep, styles components. Yep, this is good. Let's try that again. Maybe in the midst of moving folders, I accidentally moved styles back. And we refresh. Okay, this is much better. It's having a hard time resolving Shopify data.json, which is totally cool. And I know why I can't resolve it is because it's actually being it's actually it's not right. I put it in the public directory, which means it's being actually processed in terms of like where it's being served. So we're not even going to worry about that. We're going to do it like this instead. And there we go. Okay. We have data. Data is a go. And if we have data is a go, this means that if we come inside of here, I'm definitely going to commit after this and save. This is going to break. Okay, I thought that might be a little too optimistic. Product grid like this. Okay, let's see. Product grid, product list. Sure. Okay, why are you not happy with me? Why? You are not happy because undefined ID. But filter product list does have IDs. All right, product grid. Once again, we keep it real simple first. And we make sure that product grid appears on the screen. So there you go, product grid does appear on the screen. So it's not that, it must be us somehow. So let's make sure it's not product card. And then we're just gonna do the product list here, just like that. That is rendering okay. The only problem though is it's expecting an array and got an object. So that's actually the first problem that we have is for whatever reason, oh, I know why, is because it should be product Shopify data dot products apparently like this. And then dot edges, I guess. Save. Okay, there we go. That should be everything. And then maybe that's what was the problem. So now that we have that, now we can revert back to the product card. And hey, oh, this is why we start simple when we're figuring stuff out. So, Fojia here in the chat. Hello. Why am I not using Nuxt UI by the Nuxt Labs team? Oh, that's actually a really simple answer. The reason for that is because we're migrating a previous app that was designed and built by the team that I worked with, Netlify, the old DevX team. And so, however, though, this is actually a great point. For those who don't know, if you're looking for a new kind of component library to work with when it comes to component libraries, Nuxt UI just got released recently. And so it comes with a bunch of different things regarding things like, avatar badges, that kind of stuff, buttons. And so it's pretty exciting, actually. And honestly, I probably will be building with it more often. More importantly, I will probably be doing a whole session on it. So kind of like a first look at Nuxt Labs UI to kind of figure out how easy it is to work with, any sort of concerns or that kind of thing. So for Fotia, if I'll go ahead and basically in the schedule, once I'll make sure all that's syncing up at some point. But anyhow, Nuxt Labs UI, let me just make a note, will be one of the upcoming sessions. So add Nuxt Lab UI kit to a future session of Build with Ben series. Okay, great. Cool. So that's the reason why, basically. As far as my basic opinion, I love what the Nuxt team does, and I think it's really great that they're providing a sort of boilerplate for people to work with when they're working on their apps. And so, I mean, as far as I've known so far, I mean, it's a thumbs up on my end for like trying it out on your projects. And so we'll get a live look into that going forward in the future. But in the meantime, yeah, so basically it's not that I'm choosing not to, it's just I'm reusing what we currently have so that we can focus on getting that integration up and running within all this stuff. Okay, that's said and done. We got everything displaying. So let's commit our code. Okay, we've done quite a bit, and to be honest, I do want to make sure that we don't lose these changes. So let's see, app. Let's see, for this stuff, we'll say styles. Okay, so for the most part, we're going to say product grid, product card. These were part of the initial focus. This is a really simple MVP, but I think it's worth just adding so that it does work. So we'll add the Shopify data for now. Settings, main, Shopperoni. Okay, this is all good for now. So commit, basically, this is a feature where we migrate homepage with static data and core styles. We'll call it like that. Okay? Perfect. Oh, I saw someone subscribe. Sorry, I missed the notification on that, but thank you for subscribing and following along. Okay, So now that we have this, our next step is to make sure that it actually shows up like the proper homepage. And the reason it's not right now is because if we look at the V2 directory right now, we actually had a layouts directory inside of here, which is here. And so we're actually just going to move that directly into our V3, because one of the things that the Nuxt team did really well is that it really does try to follow some of the best practices that it had from before, so that for those of us using those kind of things, it really shouldn't be too far of a stretch for moving that stuff. So here we have app header, app footer. And so actually, nowadays, I'm actually more of a Pascal case when it comes to these components, to just sort of be very clear that these are from the framework and not like HTML elements. The only other thing, if I remember correctly, about layouts is they just take slots. You don't need that Nuxt component anymore. So that's really should do the trick. And then our app footer, just to check real quick, app footer is really just HTML inside of here. We don't even have a script block, so I'm actually going to wipe that out. And then we have a app header here up at the very top. It has a map getters from Vuex. Okay, this is something we're not going to be able to do just yet. So we're going to do, where's cart size? Cart size is not going to get modified just yet. So we're going to do like this. Cart size, we're going to add that flag right there. Add this flag up here. To do. Update cart size strategy. Okay, so with that shouldn't break anything. We'll just see. Let's see. Now that we have all that stuff, I believe the layouts directory won't get automatically detected though, so I have to reboot that bit. Oh, it was Yuzniel. All right, thank you for following. Okay, Okay, nope, that's wrong. Is it because it is layouts? It is the default. All right, off to the docs. That's what we do whenever we're making sure we did something right. So we look at page and layouts. We see here that we have layouts. Oh, it is the Nuxt component? Wait, no. Yeah, so you just replace it with a slot. I did remember that correctly. Okay. Nuxt layout, but we don't need to worry about that. Nuxt replace with slot. That's exactly what we did. Pages are in here. Yep, we did that. We don't look at transitions right now. Example of dynamic routes. No, this should be good. Okay, that's fine, that's fine. What is the issue? We have this. Okay, so layouts default here. Then if we look again at our live stream here, do we have any errors coming up? Maybe that's the question here. It can't find a bunch of routes, which is totally fine, which makes sense because that's where all these routes are being generated. But what I find a bit odd is that our layout component is not showing anything at all. Here is my layout. Save. Refresh. This did not show anything, which is pretty odd. Because if we come inside of here, home page 1, 2, 3, this is updating, but this is not automatically being ingested inside of the layout, which is pretty weird. I'm a little stumped. Can I just do a Nuxt layout like this? Save. Okay, so maybe that's just it. Maybe you need to, oh, I guess it does make sense. Does it though? Hold on, let me check the docs real quick. Nuxt layout, name default. Ensure it, you can directly wrap it. I thought it wasn't, I don't know why I'm having this impression that it wasn't necessary at one point. Like by default, it would choose the default layout. Otherwise, like, I thought that was the whole point. Oh, I'm silly. I know what it is. Okay. So in my head, I was like, oh, it should automatically be wrapping. I totally forgot. When you wrap the layout, usually actually you want to do it at this level. You want to do it at your Nuxt, or sorry, your app.view layout. And so there we go. That's everything. And then your default then is layout here. Now I can just remove this. That appears. And then the other thing is on index.view. We can finally get rid of this H1. And then it looks like we have mostly everything. That looks mostly right, although that looks a little off. Why does that look a little off to me? Yeah, we have this whole thing here. This thing is missing. Why is that not there? Product grid. Okay, we're about to find out. Index v2 pages. Home page, product grid. Interplay of flavors. App footer. Ah, so my app footer is the problem. And testimonial, yep. Okay, so is it because testimonial is expecting, I see a background images of images, testimonial BG. Okay, so that tells us that inside of our static directory, we're missing some stuff. Here we go, here's that images. So I believe rather than it being static in Nuxt 3 going forward, it's just in public. Gosh darn it. That Nuxt, that node modules folder is going to keep biting me in the butt. Okay, here we go. Bum, 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 bum. There you go. Boom. Okay, now this should be better. So if we jump over to our localhost 3000, refresh. There we go. This looks much better. I was going to say it looks kind of funky. All right, excellent. Okay, now I think we have the full layout working, which is awesome. We do have some to-dos, but what we do want to do as we start to get this to a starting point, app footer. Okay, so let's see. There you go, testimonial BG. The only thing I want to do is Nuxt 3, and then this is now Nuxt.com. I believe that's the Nuxt.com. Yep, great. Perfect, built with Nuxt 3, perfect, open source, yep. Okay, so this is showing up. All right, now in the time we have left, we need to actually attempt this next piece, which is actually gonna be pretty critical. So app footer, all right, I'm gonna add that, and then we're gonna say feature, migrate rest of layout into Nuxt 3 app. Okay, this looks like this is gonna be a multi-part stream. So it looks like next week we'll be continuing the work on this. But, all right, cart, we're not gonna worry about this right now because that's like displaying the cart. So that's like a whole thing. We wanna actually show that we can connect said data. So there's a couple ways to do this, but I'm hoping to figure out if we can do this. All right, let's just figure out how far we can get with this. Okay, so first thing first, when we go inside of our index, we'll notice that we were using an async data function to fetch from the API in order to get the thing. So what I want to do is see if we can actually get it to the point where we can actually see something from it. So if we look inside of here, netlify, functions. Here we go, functions. Netlify, here we go, now I'll put it in the right place. Functions, okay. We want the get product list here. And so the idea here is that you could come in, you could fetch the stuff, it would fetch it, it would be great. And so inside of here, there was this post to Shopify thing where you would post, it would actually help you grab, basically it would wrap the endpoint. So it would fetch it, post to it, and then get JSON back from it. So we had basically refactored that piece to make it easier to use. So as long as your environment had a Shopify storefront API token, you are basically good to go, to be honest. Okay, the fastest way to see if this works, to be quite honest, is to migrate this netlify folder directly. And so when we do that, what this does is it keeps us with the netlify way of doing things, but I think by the end of it, we're going to be utilizing the Nuxt 3 servers to basically accomplish this very thing. So for now, what I'm going to do is I will NTL init. This, actually, no, wait, what am I doing? I need to link it to an existing site. So hopefully this will work now to this. So hopefully it actually sees the thing and does the right thing. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, while it's looking for that, we have the functions here. And then I'm going to minimize this. And we're going to try to actually get this to work. So I believe if we say, so let's do the Nuxt async data. We're doing use fetch Nuxt. That's what we want. Bum, bum, bum. Yep. But I want to use async data just like that. There we go. And then, hey, that's not async data. This one. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, yep. Use fetch. Great. That's all we want to do. Keep it real simple. So cons, and then we're going to break down the data for now. And then we're just going to say not Shopify data. We'll say, actually, no, we'll call this local. No. Local Shopify data, just to keep it simple. This will be local Shopify data. Then we have data. This will be the actual Shopify data, assuming this even works, to be honest. Which I believe it would. So then we're going to await, use fetch. I can't type. Then /API/get product list. Theoretically, this should work. Keyword theoretically. Shopify data. Okay. So we have all this. Let's see. Did it actually manage to link? It did. It did work. Huzzah. So so if I don't think this will work. NTL dev. Oh, okay. This looks like it's working. From what I can tell, looks promising. Okay, so then if I save this now, all right, so we're gonna test this real quick, and we're gonna say here, if we do .netlify/API/get product list, this did not get anything. Okay, that doesn't totally make sense to me, but let's see. Loaded function 888.netlify functions. Oh, is that what I need to do? /functions/get cart. Okay. Functions like that. And then like that. Okay. This has crashed. Requires ES modules node fetch. Oh boy. Oh, this is going to be trickier than I anticipated. Okay. That's totally fine. This is part, honestly, this is part of being a developer. So basically, it seems like, unfortunately, right now, the way we're doing this with the Netlify serverless functions, it is not working because there is an ES module issue with node fetch. And it looks like getting it from post to Shopify, which is here, node fetch is not working. So change the require of this to dynamic import. Okay, I mean, let's try this real quick. From that, save. Okay. Can I use import statement outside of a module? Okay, can we just do export default this? No, I was too optimistic. That's okay. All right, one more time, just to reboot, just to make sure it's not me. I have an idea of how I would do this, but if we're looking at the log, oh, there's a ref implementation. It's logging out null. Yeah, that makes sense, because right now, if we were to do the nullify that function/get product list, once again, we should get the same error. Cannot use import statement outside of, yeah, sure. Okay. Okay. So this is part of the Build with Ben series, right? Sometimes we win some and sometimes we lose some. And so in this regard, we got to this point now where I don't know, I guess you know, actually this is probably a good toggling point for next time. So here we go. Boom. All right, switching back to here. Okay, so we've hit your proverbial end of a TV episode where something's happened. We got some stuff working, and then big problem where apparently currently right now the Netlify functions as is, if I'm just trying to like drop stuff, it's not working, and I don't quite know why. We don't know why. And so don't worry, rather than trying to solve this on my own and then you can't learn from it or whatever, this will basically be, I'll set up the schedule for next week so that there'll be a part 2 to this, where we're going to basically figure out, one, if we can get the Netlify functions to work as is, with this. However, most likely what I would try to do is, and this is honestly where I call it like vendor dependency can happen, is that this is clearly a Netlify functions issue that, like, in terms of trying to get serverless function to work. And so one of the things we want to do when we're building for the web is try to be as framework agnostic as humanly possible, only because as we move stuff, sometimes it's just important to have code be able to be deployed kind of wherever. And so Nuxt 3 does a really good job of this, because what we should be able to do in the next session, which is probably what my strategy is for this, is we're going to be using the Nuxt 3 server to kind of replicate this functionality in terms of creating utility functions to make it easier for us to post directly to Shopify, and then calling it all within the Nuxt architecture. And then what happens, in case you're wondering, is that Nuxt 3 will then go ahead and do all the right things within Netlify to set up the serverless function so that it works with Nuxt 3 exactly as you expect. And so that's kind of what you can kind of call it your sneak peek for the next episode. But in the meantime, this is kind of where we're at the moment as far as like the problem set. So call this a part 1 to our migration of Nuxt 3 and Shopify. But otherwise, in the meantime, thanks everyone for those who have joined. And again, a special shout out to Redemption for the great tangent regarding keyboards. Really would love to do more as far as like showcasing all the different ones I own, and just sort of like preferences and that kind of stuff. But yeah, always enjoy talking about that stuff. In the meantime, thanks once again. Thanks everyone for hanging out. It's been an absolute blast. And for those of you who want to ever join for the live sessions, be sure to check out the schedule at bencozen.io/schedule. I'll make sure those things are updated as I come up with the topics and settle on some dates. And there should be a calendar link in there as well for those of you who don't want to like check the website every time. I get it. That can be a lot. But if you just want to subscribe to the calendar, there should be a way for you to do that on the page. So with that said, hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And until next time, I'll see you all then. See you in part 2. Bye.